Welcome into the Thunder basketball universe, our first episode of 2025. You'll notice we are not in our usual podcast studio. That means we're up at the Thunder practice facility, and anytime we're here, that means we have a special guest. And today, a very special guest, the one and only JWill, is joining us on the podcast today right after practice. Thanks so much for being here, man. We appreciate it.
Yo, thank you for having me.
This might be the first actual practice that you've had since you come back from injury. I mean, the schedule has just been crazy since Christmas. We were just talking about before the podcast. Since Christmas Day, you all have had 7 games in 11 days. I mean, it's impossible to get any extra work in during that time.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a lot, but when you're out, and especially for me, the thing that I missed the most was just competing and competition. So having a lot of games quick, like it might be tough on us traveling and our body and a lot of playing, but it was like something I really look forward to, and I missed having.
Well, let's dive into this a little bit more because you're 8 games now back after being injured for the first part of this season. What has this 8-game stretch been like for you? I mean, I imagine, you're getting back your rhythm back, your chemistry with your guys. But what has it been like for you just being back out there?
Yeah, super thankful to be able to be healthy and be back out on the court. I feel like a lot of guys and a lot of time people take for granted for what they have in life. And I feel like a lot of my time at home watching the guys travel, watching them play, watching them practice, it made me think of how grateful I am for where I am in life and what I did have. And being back out there on the court, like, it was amazing. Just being able to yell with my teammates and celebrate and shoot shots and yell at my teammates on the court, like, it's those small things that I really missed. And it's something that I go into these opportunities, and I look forward to it every day.
I'm so glad that you just brought this up because it's something that Mark Daigneault talked to us about, which is when you were injured and when you're playing, you're doing the exact same thing, which is every bit of energy that you've got that's coming your way, you're feeding right back to your teammates. I know that over the years we've talked to you, that's a very natural thing for you to do. But when you're hurt and when you can't play and when you have something taken away from you, that's got to be harder to do. How did you make sure that you had the kind of the mental frame of mind right to just keep being yourself?
Yeah, I started praying. I prayed a lot, and it gave me a different aspect of life, and just kind of wanted to be more grateful for what I had, be grateful for the things around me, knowing that everything happens for a reason, and it just gave me a different aspect of life, and it makes you appreciate the small moments so much more when you miss out on something for that long.
You know what wasn't a small moment? When you checked into the game for the first time. You would have thought that, like, we just hit, like, a buzzer beater against, like, Boston in that moment. When you checked out onto the court, I have to imagine that had to have been such a special moment. To hear the roar of the crowd, but to know this crowd appreciates you so much.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's something that you dream of as a kid, like, checking into the game and the crowd going wild, but more than anything, like, my family was there. So I got to experience it, but knowing that my family was there and got to experience that too, like, it's something I'll never take for granted, just those small moments and, well, big moments, but those things like that, like, just being able to experience that with my family, it was amazing.
It was clear that moment resonated not just here in Oklahoma City, but kind of across the NBA. That got a lot of traction, and it struck me as, like, this is what people want to see. They want to see genuine connection. They want to see passion. They want to see love and joy out there on the basketball court. Why do you think that you guys have been able to deliver that so frequently this year? And not just this year, like, this is years in the making. It doesn't have anything to do with the record, it seems.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, I feel like our fans are so bought into us because we have fun on the court. Yeah. I feel like it's not like a stressful game that we're out there playing. We're out there having fun. They see us joking around and laughing and yelling at each other and pushing each other and things like that. So I feel like that just makes our connection with the fans even tighter because they look at us as, like, regular people to a certain extent. And our fans give so much to us. We just, like, being able to share these moments with this win streak that we're on, or these loud environments at these home games, being able to share that with them, like, it's amazing.
It is amazing because so many people, fans in the building, will talk to us and they say if they feel like they know you guys personally, just by the interactions that you all have, and I feel very lucky because our broadcasts feel like this beautiful window into who you guys are as people, as human beings, just given the way that you treat each other.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we're normal people. Like, a lot of times in life, as a basketball player, you play with teams, and it's more like you have a team. Like, I'm going there with my team. But when I'm doing these things, when we're out there celebrating after the game, we're brothers, we're friends.
Yeah.
We're friends outside of what's happening on the basketball court and in the locker room. So when we're sharing these moments together, it's like you're watching your friend hit a shot, or you're watching your friend dunk the ball on somebody. Like, it's not a teammate doing it, it's your friend. And I feel like that just brings us so much closer together, and the crowd and the fans they resonate with that.
Well, this has been a really special stretch for you guys as a group, because obviously you mentioned the win streak. The Thunder has won 15 straight games now and went 5-0 on this homestand, which was not an easy homestand. Like, this was not a walk in the park. You had some really tough opponents. It was a tough schedule, too. You had, I think, a stretch of 5 games and 7 nights as well. So just in general, looking back over this homestand, how did you guys handle this stretch that was tough, a lot of tough opponents, and a tough schedule on top of that?
I think we handled it one game at a time. At the beginning of the stretch, Coach said to us that we got to get better. At the end of the stretch, we want to look back and say that we got better over these span of games. And I feel like that's something that we did. So went to every game, one game at a time, worried about who was the other team that we were playing against, not the next team that we were playing. And just slowly turned what we did wrong the game before, got better with it, stretch over stretch. And we just slowly got better. Yeah.
There's so many different aspects to the game. Can you pinpoint some areas where you really feel like, okay, compared to last week, we're better at this in this situation?
One of the things was fouling. Fouling was one of them. I feel like trusting each other is another thing. We trust each other a lot more, picking up, playing more aggressive. There's just a bunch of small stuff. I can go on and on about Mark's little nitpicking at the game, but there was a bunch of small stuff, but those are kind of the main ones.
But another big element to this homestand was that the last four games, you guys trailed by as many as 14. You trailed by 12. Last night against the Celtics, you trailed by 13. And obviously, you won each of those games. And you guys aren't this isn't new territory for you guys to have to make those sort of comebacks. But what is it about this group? I mean, it feels like you guys are unfazed when you're down by that many, or you're going up against a team like the Celtics and you're down by that many. What is it about this group that makes it so possible for you guys to do that?
Yeah, it's resiliency and building that mindset that we have, regardless of what the score is. If we're up 20 or if we're down 20, we're going to play Thunder basketball and our brand of basketball. And if you stick to those things that what we're supposed to do and you trust it, then eventually it's going to happen. You can't always count on shots to fall or count on those things. But if you trust in your defense and your effort and the small things that goes into getting open shots, then eventually it'll work. And we stay to what we are, and no matter what the game doesn't end in the first half. So if we keep fighting, and we can always claw our way back.
I remember you using that word resilience in the 22 season, your rookie year. How much of what you guys started building in that year, in maybe the previous year, is what we're seeing now?
A lot of it. It's a lot of the same stuff. We've kind of just, I wouldn't say perfected it, but we've gotten better at those things. And it's kind of just become like, it's our DNA to do those small things, our DNA to yell at each other, hype each other up, dive on the ground, play defense, take charges, rim protect. Just those things are our DNA, and it just goes along with us.
It's the type of thing that allows you to hold the defending champions to 27 points in the second half. And even though you're down and it seemed like they had so much momentum, it didn't matter because you guys just played the play in front of you. Tell me about last night and what that felt like.
Yeah, it was an amazing game. And to say that we didn't go into the game knowing who they were, knowing that they were a great team and the defending champs, like, I'd be lying if I didn't say that. So we knew there was going to be a little bit of extra on it, and they had a great first half, and we just stuck to what we were doing. We fixed a little bit of stuff, but we stuck to what we were doing, kept creating open shots for each other, shooting good shots, trusting each other on defense, and eventually shots started falling. We leaned into our defensive side a little bit more, got some stops, and we just played Thunder basketball.
I want to ask you specifically about two guys. So last night against the Celtics, Lou goes crazy in the fourth quarter, knocks down 3 threes. I feel like you're always like the first person to like meet a guy. Like whenever they hit a big shot and the timeout's called, I feel like you're the first person off the court.
You are at half court.
You're like at half court, like ready to meet these guys. What is that moment like for you as a teammate to see a guy like Lou, who had a slow start to that game? I think he was 0 for 5 to start the game, and then just go off in the fourth quarter when you guys needed it the most.
Yeah, when my teammates hit shots, I feel like I'm hitting the shot. like I want to go out there and yell. And Lou, when he shoots the ball, like, I think it's going in every time.
Yeah.
Lou's a great shooter. He's a great defender, great basketball player, great guy. And being able to celebrate with him, he's not a guy that likes to show his emotion all the time. So being able to run up to Lou and just yell at him and push him around, like seeing the feedback that I get from him, it's always fun to mess with Lou.
And I got to ask you about Aaron, too,
Yeah.
because Aaron, obviously, against the New York Knicks, for those who did not see that game, 15 points in the fourth quarter. That man went crazy. He had 19 points in that game. But for that week, if you remember, JWill, he had kind of a pretty big week. You remember he went off in his home state in North Carolina against the Hornets and then had a great game against the Clippers on his birthday.
Yeah.
And then that very next night against New York, went off for 19 points. You said you felt like when they hit shots, you hit shots. So I have to imagine that felt pretty cool for you too.
Yeah, it was amazing. Wiggs, we all know how good Wiggs is.
Yeah.
Wiggs is a great player. He's 3-level scorer. He can guard. He can put the ball on the ground. He can be a spot-up shooter. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. And he was shooting the ball with confidence. Our guys were out there making plays and getting him open shots. And every time the ball was going up, we thought it was good, and it was good that night. And being able to see Wiggs yell and have fun with him, and it just hypes the entire team up.
Yeah.
I think everybody was excited to see that. Everybody in the arena was excited to see it. But it was super fun, and Wiggs is a character for sure. So being able to share that moment with him is always fun.
I mean, you've hit a 3 in 7 out of the 8 games that you've been back, and something that Mark was telling us about last night was that you had one game, I think the Clippers game, that you didn't knock any down. And then the next night, literally 24 hours later, Shai's like feeding you the ball, and he's continuing like pumping you shots, and you hit 2 big ones, I think, in that Knicks game. Tell me what that dynamic is like. That first of all, you're coming in, you hadn't played, and you're getting into a rhythm from 3. You're knocking shots down, and then to just, regardless of what's happened previous games or whatever, like you're getting looks, and the offense is flowing to you no matter what.
Yeah, it's trusting my shot. I trust my shot. When I was out, I kind of just pray. Like I said, I was praying, and it kind of just made me not think about stuff as much. My rookie year, if I would have missed however many, I think I was 0 for whatever in the Clippers game, the next game I would have been so hesitant to shoot.
Yeah.
And when I was praying, I was just kind of living the moment. And I don't know if it's on, it is on video, I have it on my phone, but when I checked into the first game, I don't remember who we were playing, I tapped on Mark, and I was like, I'm nervous, I'm not going to lie. And he said, just shoot the first shot you get. Shoot the first look. And AC dropped it off. I shot it. And it's kind of just the confidence that our coach and the players install in me. And like Shai, if I don't shoot an open shot, I pass out of an open shot, Shai will yell at me and be like, you need to shoot the ball. So having that confidence from my teammates and my coaches, like, you can't get that nowhere else. And then myself, like, you can't get that nowhere else. And when those guys have that much confidence in me shooting the ball and making shots, like, I have no choice other than shoot the ball and shoot good.
Was there a moment or an influence that led you to start praying more here over the last few months, or was this just kind of something that came to you one day?
My girlfriend and her family, they're super religious. They go to church every Sunday. She kind of just always talks to me about that type of thing. Her mom and her dad text me before every game saying they're praying for me. And I hurt myself the first time on my hamstring, and it was a tough little stretch for me, and I was struggling and worked all the way back and then hurt myself again. And like, I was like, okay, like another task. And the first thing I did, that was the first time I prayed. I hurt myself. And I went back in the locker room and I prayed. Well, not the first time I ever prayed, but the first time throughout this stretch. I prayed in the locker room. I was like, it's going to be okay. Everything happens for a reason. You've been here before. You've done this before. Like, start over. Like, it's okay. And I kind of just started praying through that, and it really has helped me free my mind. Like, I care about things, but it hasn't just, like, made me think about things super tough.
It gives you perspective.
Gives me perspective, yeah. It makes things way more easy. It makes me think of things with a different light. I'm more grateful for everything in life, and it's a really good aspect in life.
Yeah, like a meditation and then release almost. You can let it go and continue on about doing your job that you got to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really special, and I'm so glad that you have that. And also, it seems like your teammates obviously have been giving you so much confidence throughout all of this. One last aspect to your game that we really wanted to talk to you about is your passing. And obviously that's something that you've had ever since you've stepped onto the court with the Thunder. But it feels like, especially now, there's a lot of extra chemistry that you've been with this group for so long. How much do you feel like you're getting more of a rhythm out there with your guys and recognizing that they know to look for you when you're going to pass the ball? That sort of kind of cohesion on the court.
Yeah, it's a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
Like if there's a play where I'm gonna get the ball on the elbow or anywhere and Lou's in the corner, he knows to be ready because I might throw it across the corner. Like he'll say to me like, "Joe, I'm in the corner." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
I know.
That sort of thing. Like me and Zay, we have that chemistry where he knows that if I'll know if he's somewhere. He knows if I'm somewhere, he can throw it to me, run off. Shay, I know he likes the ball. If there's a pin down, he likes the ball right away so he can curl it. Same thing with Dub. Dub likes, like, I know everybody's sort of tendencies, and it's kind of just playing with these guys for a while and knowing how they like to play and how they like to do certain things is developing.
I mean, we see the baseball passes too. We know you got that history of baseball.
Right.
You fire those things across the court like they're going 100 miles an hour.
That's my favorite. I love passing, and that's, as you can see, that's probably my favorite.
Between that and like taking charges, like that's what makes you so special out there on the court. It's like, I can knock down threes, I can get a good rebound, but I love making a good baseball pass.
There's nothing more shocking when you don't get the block charge, when you don't get the charge call and they call it a block. I sit there, I'm like,
it's kind of like
can't possibly be.
It's like
there must
seeing
be some
Isaiah
mistake
Joe
here.
miss a shot. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It's kind of like weird.
It's like in college, it was my thing. Like guys were scared to drive at me because they knew I was going to take a charge. Like the refs would come up to me before games and be like, "How many charges are you taking?" And I'll be like, "How many you gonna give me?" And it would just be a little thing. And now it's kind of developed into a thing in the NBA where they know I'm gonna take a charge. I don't remember. I think it was a Charlotte game. One of the guys drove and they didn't call a foul, and I verticaled it.
Yeah.
And the next play down, he was like, "I didn't want to go up. I thought you was gonna take a charge again," or something like that. And like, even though I'm not a shot blocker or a rim protector, like the guys are driving. If they see me, they think of me, and they're scared.
That's rim protection.
So like that's my own aspect of rim protection, and just being able to have that little bit in somebody's mind, make them second guess a drive or second guess a layup, like it can change the outcome of something. So.
There are many different ways to do what you guys have done all season, which has been the best paint defense in the NBA. And there's a few different forms that takes,
Exactly.
And it's so cool, actually, between you and Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet, like three very different types of rim protectors, but one that a team needs. A team needs all three different types throughout the course of a season. Yeah.
For sure.
I have to imagine it's kind of similar to like when guys see Lou, squaring up against them when they cross half court, and they're just like, this is going to be difficult. And they see you at the rim, like, okay, I can't get too far downhill because this guy's going to take a charge on me. It's mind games out there on the court. It's just chipping away. All right. So let's turn the page here because the next challenge for you guys, you're hitting the road. You're heading out east. 4 games against the Eastern Conference, and it starts with a really tough challenge against the Cleveland Cavaliers, #1 team in the East. What's the approach for you guys knowing this is going to be a tough stretch? Not only are you going against tough opponents, but you're out east. It's going to be cold. You're going to be on the road for a while. What's the approach going into this?
Yeah, luckily we play an inside sport, so we don't got to worry about the weather. But
that's true.
But we know they're a good team. We'll take it one team at a time, so we're just worrying about Cleveland. And we didn't really do anything Cleveland-based today. We kind of just looked at our last couple games and stuff that we can get better throughout those. But sure, we're going to go over it all tomorrow. And they're a good team. We got to go in there. We got to play our way, and we just got to go out there and play confidently.
Yeah, and I know these fans here in OKC are going to miss you guys and be ready for you all to come back home because that's 8 days on the road. And I mean, you already know from December when you only had 3 home games the whole month that it's just different when you're here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to miss my dogs.
Zeus, right?
I have 2 now.
2 now? Okay.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
A girl Rottweiler too. So I have Zeus and Phoenix. They're both Rottweilers.
Okay. And how are they getting along?
They're great. They're like boyfriend, girlfriend. So they love each other, and Zeus loves company, and Phoenix, she's just a little brat. This is my little girl. She's a little brat.
Is she a puppy still, or
no,
is she?
No. She's older than Zeus, but she was my girl's dog. And Zeus and her are best friends, so she moved in with me, and like they just play all day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See,
that's amazing.
That's compatibility right
there. That worked out perfectly. I love
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
JWill, thank you so much for joining us. It's always so fun when we have you on the podcast.
Yeah, thank y'all.
This has been great. All right, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much to our special guest, JWill, to our producer, Matt Bishop. And until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.